In today's video, we will briefly look at a common tool used for summarizing numerical and categorical data known as a frequency table. The discussion today will focus on how a frequency table can be created to summarize single variable numerical data, and secondly, I will show how to use RGuru to find the 5-number summary, the mean, and the standard deviation for numerical data that is presented as a frequency table. So let's take a look at some sample data. Suppose that we collected data from a random sample of cars in which we determined how many years old each car is. A table of the raw data is shown below, where each data value represents the age of a car in years. Now, taking a look at that data, you can see that it's pretty unordered. It's kind of tough to tell anything just from looking at all of those pieces of data. So the format's not really that useful. However, we can form what is known as a frequency table, which is a tabular representation of the data showing the count of each data value. And I've gone ahead and done that on the right-hand side. Notice that in the first column we have the variable, which is the age of the cars. And we have on the right-hand column what is known as the frequency, or the count of each of those numbers of years that are represented in the data. So for example, I look at the fourth row of the table and I see that for cars that are age 4 years old, there are 7 of those particular cars, and so on. There are a total of 30 cars that are in the entire data set as shown by the total at the bottom where I added up the frequencies that I found in my table. Now, another related table that I need to mention in passing before we go on to the RGuru part is I can form what is known as a relative frequency table. What that means is I take a frequency table as shown on the left, and I'm going to take each frequency value and divide it by the total. So I've done that in the table on the right. And this gives me the percentage or fraction of the data values that have that particular age of cars in years. So for example, reading the fourth row of the table, I see that 7 out of 30 of the cars are age 4 years old, or approximately 2,333 10,000ths, written as a decimal, or we could also say approximately 23% of the 30 cars in my sample are 4 years old. So that's what relative frequency tables look like. If you add all of these relative frequencies up, the total of that should be 1. So now let's talk about how we would enter a frequency table into RGuru and then use that information to find the 5-number summary, the mean and standard deviation for a frequency table of information. So first of all, I go to Data. I go to Data Import, left-click on that, and I'm going to create a new data set, so I left-click on that selection, and of course now I need to go ahead and name my variables. Also, I'm going to add another column for the frequency. So the variable number 1 is going to be car ages. So I call it car, well, let's just call it age. Okay. And then the second variable is going to be my frequency. It's not actually a variable because frequency isn't really considered a variable. It's just a count of the number of cars of a certain age in this case. And then I know that I need 7 rows for my data table for the car ages because that's how many rows we had in our original data. And then I just come on in here and start typing in the values. So 1, 2 for the frequency, and so on. Now I'm not going to continue entering in all the data because I did that earlier. So let me go ahead and pop up this data set that I had created earlier. I should in passing mention that you can save this data set data frame by using the Save As button in RGuru. I did so earlier and called my data set car ages. So let me go ahead and open that up now. So here's my completed table after I entered in all the information. Now suppose I want to go ahead and find the 5-number summary, the mean and standard deviation. I go to the left. I left-click on Functions, left-click on Summary Statistic. I'm going to select my data set, which is the car ages. I left-click on Numerical. The numerical variable is age, and then I left-click on frequency and have that as my frequency. I come over to the right-hand part of the dialog box where I want my statistics. I'll have the count minimum. Yeah, that's the 5-number summary, min, median, max, quartiles, and then the mean and standard deviation. So those are all checked, and I go ahead and click the preview. And then I come over to the plus sign for all observations. And notice that I now have the total number of observations, which was 30, the 5-number summary, the mean, and the standard deviation for that set of data.